Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at the Sherman Firefly, which is easily the best Sherman in the war. The only Sherman capable of penetrating all the German tanks from the front with its amazing 17-pounder cannon. And this was a British Sherman. The British came up with this idea. Basically, the Shermans were great tanks, but they weren't great against anti-tanks, especially some of the German tanks at range. So the British idea was to shove a 17-pounder gun in the turret, and the Americans didn't like it, didn't want anything to do with it, which was a huge mistake. And the British adopted this tank, and the Canadians used it as well. And Radley Walters, the best tank ace out of all the Allies, destroyed the most German tanks out of all the Allies. He drove a Sherman Firefly, or commanded a Sherman Firefly, whichever you prefer. Anyway, this tank was added in Update 1.55 Royal Armor, and it's one of the most famous Shermans. Some of the pros for this tank: it uses the tried and tested Sherman chassis. Experienced players will find this tank easy to use. It's got a very fast turret traverse speed, the 17-pounder gun which can penetrate every single tank it faces. Newer players might struggle against the Panther, but there is ways you can penetrate it. You just gotta figure out where to shoot it. Excuse me. There are ways you can penetrate it, you just have to figure out where to shoot it. Fast reload even with an untrained crew. 77 rounds maximum. Fast and very mobile. Access to additional armor that covers most of the front and sides. You can see it on us in this game here. It's got a 50 cal AA machine gun that's unique among other vehicles, as it can rotate 360 degrees. Coming around the corner here, we might get our first tank. It has no side bulges, unlike the premium version. And the post-penetration damage tends to be enough to knock out crews when clustered together, such as on the T-34 series of turrets. Some of the cons of this tank: you can see we're rolling up with our two friends here just around the corner. We got some enemies around here. We're going to try and get a lucky shot on them. Seem to hit him with our MG, but we're not confident enough to take the shot. You can see there's an M4A4 SA50, which is like the French Sherman in this game. And there's a M4A3E2, which is like an up-armored American Sherman. So there's three Shermans moving in. Three different kinds of Shermans: France, Britain, and America. It's actually a French version of the American tank. Like that particular one's got the French symbol on it, so it's from the French tree, but it is an American design. Some cons of this tank: the armor of the M4 Sherman is very thin for a rank 3 vehicle. Oh, one of our buddies just got taken out there. Moving around a dangerous corner here. What do we got? Oh, we just took a hit. Oh, we got some tanks around this corner here. Looks like a couple of Panzers. One down. Two down. And me and this Sherman Jumbo are working well together. Oh, another tank over here. Boom. Took out his gunner and his cannon breech. He's done. That's a KV-1B. He's been taken out. And we're going to try and capture C now. Oh, there's a Dicker Max there. And managed to get a kill assist there with the MGs. So we're trying to capture C. Some more cons of this: it's the armor of an M4 Sherman, so it's very thin for a rank 3 vehicle. You can see we're engaging a Hetzer here. This tank has a very large profile. It's got 4 crew members, and 3 of them are clustered in the turret, so it makes this tank very easy to knock out. It's got bad gun depression, only 3 degrees, or sorry, 5 degrees. The gun post-penetration damage is decent, but still won't always one-shot a tank, so there's no high explosive filler. You see we knock out his commander and loader there on the Hetzer. Smart enemies will shoot the spot where the radio operator gunner usually set, as in the Firefly. That spot is replaced by ammo, unless carrying 54 ammo, which we do here. Additional armor doesn't really help. Reverse speed is bad. Like all vehicles armed with the early version of the 17-pounder gun, it will struggle before it has the shot Mark 8 that you unlock. We've taken some damage here, our cannon breaches out. Stock AP round is painful to use, it fragments poorly, bounces often, does very little damage unless you hit ammo or modules. You can see we've been knocked out here by the Hetzer. The traverse is mediocre. And unlike other Shermans, it doesn't have access to a gun stabilizer, and the gun sight will rock up and down on a sudden stop. So we're coming in on with the Typhoon here. We're gonna try and get some kills with this Typhoon. I know this is a Sherman Firefly review, but this was part of the footage. I think we used the Firefly in a minute again, so we'll get back to that. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I really like this Typhoon plane. It's 4.3 in realistic battles. You can throw it in pretty much any lineup with the Brits, and it can hold 1,000-pound bombs or these 8 rockets, so it's really quite a sweet plane. So we're coming in here. And no hits. Fire 2 of our rockets off there. But yeah, some other things I'd like to say about the Sherman Firefly. It's one of my personal favorite tanks. I already mentioned Canadian Tank Ace Radley Walters, and it's a British tank, so I really enjoy it. That 17-pounder gun is really fun to use. It's quite mobile. The gun depression does kind of suck a bit. Because it's ranked 4.7 and the Comet's ranked 5.0, I do like the Comet better. I feel like they're comparable because their battle rating's so close. So I do like the Comet better because you get the 12 degrees of gun depression and you get a little bit extra armor on the tank. So, but yeah, I'd give this Sherman Firefly a give it an 8 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's a great tank. It suffers from its gun depression and its high profile. And it's one of those tanks where it's better played like a tank destroyer. It's better if you set it up ahead of time. You can see we completely screw up this this flying job with our Typhoon, but we're gonna get back in the Firefly. Alright, we're back in the Firefly again. Yeah, I'm still getting the hang of flying planes, especially with rockets. I prefer those 1,000-pound bombs, and sometimes you try something new and it doesn't work out, and that's what happened that time. I just flew right into the ground. But this is the Sherman Firefly review, so let's focus on the Sherman. You can see the mobility being put to work here. I figure this tank is worth it, and it gets the 8.0 battle rating just because of its history in the war. In War Thunder, it's certainly not the greatest tank. I'd say it's average. It stacks up against its opponents, you know, pretty well in most situations. But all in all, it's pretty average. I definitely like tanks with a lower profile. That's one of my least favorite things about the Sherman chassis. Combined with the fact that most Shermans have 10 or 12 degrees of gun depression, it makes this particular Sherman chassis annoying to use because normally you could creep up to a hill, use your binoculars to see over, and then use your gun depression of the Sherman to just only show your turret, which is a very small profile, but not with this tank with its 5 degrees of gun depression. We're creeping around the corner here. We know there's an enemy somewhere. We're just not sure. Okay, we get a brief sighting of him there. And we take a shot, but it doesn't do anything. So we're just going to reverse. You can see the awful reverse speed. We're trying to figure out where the hell this guy is. So we're going to move up a little bit again. And we got him right through the center of the hull, knocked out his entire crew. With the Panzer IV-G there. I like this map, Advance to the Rhine. I gotta say, I do enjoy the maps of War Thunder. A lot better than World of Tanks. World of Tanks, for any of you who are watching who don't know, I used to play that game, and I have nothing good to say about it. War Thunder's better in every possible dimension. Come around the corner here, going up the straight, long, narrow street in our Firefly. Looks like the enemy team is pretty much done in this game. We've got A and B, and we're capturing C as well. So with the Sherman, I recommend 46 shells. So take 31 shells out and keep 46 in. For your ammo, that'll give you a good amount of shells and still leave a decent amount of ammo racks empty. One of the reasons why this thing was called the Firefly was when the 17-pounder gun shot, it actually sparked up everything around it and let off a huge muzzle flash, which is why it earned the name Firefly. We're coming to the end of the game here. We're trying to take C off the enemy. You can see there's a flak bus. We put a shell through him, take out his gunner and loader. He's trying to get away, but we hit him with the MG, set him on fire, take out his driver, and he is done. And I gotta say, it's always satisfying when you take people out with your machine guns. It just feels extra satisfying. Anyway, that's the end of the game. You can see we got first in the team. Thanks for watching.